His parents sue daughter they abandoned at the age of 2 for not buying her brother an apartment. Entitled dad breaks my leg because I continuously blocked his son from scoring. We had a volleyball tournament. For reference, I'm a middle blocker, 6'5" and a vertical of 70 centimeters. Game starts and everything goes good. Eventually, entitled dad's kid gets subbed in because his team wasn't scoring and apparently he's a star player. I blocked every hit he went for and his dad started to get visibly angry, starting to shout at me and stuff as well. After the game ended, we won, and I blocked nearly every shot from this guy. The entitled dad came to me asking what my problem is and stuff. I said, "Sorry man, it's my job." He started laughing and stomped on my shin. It's broken and I'm currently in hospital writing this story, and the dad should hopefully end up in jail. Also planning on suing for permanent damages. Doctor says I may not be able to play volleyball ever again, and I got a college offer. I put vegetables in all my food so my roommate's kid won't eat them. The mom is upset. I, 26F, live in a rented house with a single mother, 30F, and her son, 6M. I had another person living with me, but they moved out and the mother moved in. I don't mind living with her and her kid. It's fine, and we kinda do our own thing. I spend a lot of time at my boyfriend's place or working. Our work schedules collide, so we really don't interact much, but when we do, it's fine. No issue there. I want to start with saying that she clearly struggles financially, but I don't think it's an excuse. I don't make lots of money either. However, I've noticed that my food would go missing or portions would be taken from it. I assumed it was her kid, so I asked her if she'd stop him from eating my food. I was calm about it, and she just said she would. It didn't really upset me when it first started. It started getting annoying when I'd get home from work and expect to have a meal's worth of leftovers in the fridge, only to see it picked through or just gone. I kept bringing it up, and she started getting annoyed with me bringing it up. Just from observing them, I realized that neither of them ever eat vegetables. And judging by the food that would get picked through and the food that would be untouched, anything with green in it was avoided. Orange chicken would be gone, but chicken and broccoli would be untouched. So I started putting vegetables in everything. I find vegetables to be delicious, and anything green or not a potato does not get eaten. So I could mix some bell peppers into the food and it would be fine. I make a big portion of vegetables pretty frequently anyway, so I just started putting it in everything I eat. If I had leftover mashed potatoes, I'd pour green beans in and mix it up. If I had leftover cheesy bacon fries, I'd pour broccoli all over it and mix it in. Usually my homemade stuff has vegetables in it, but I started making sure everything did. I made a pot of mac and cheese, the kid's favorite thing, and poured in roasted Brussels sprouts, which is actually delicious to me, and I'm eating more vegetables, so it's a win-win. She had been seeming annoyed, but we were all home when I made the pot of mac and cheese. She was in the living room and saw me get out the Brussels sprouts and was like, "What are you going to do with that?" And I poured them in. She said I was being greedy and annoying. I just said I like Brussels sprouts, and that was it. She said, "We need food," and I told her to go get some, or stop buying only prepackaged things and your money will go further. I think she sees this as some big act of revenge, but I just simply want to be able to eat my food. Also want to add that the sharing is not the issue. It's expecting to have food there, and it's not. So often I'd be working a long day and get home expecting to have a meal's worth of food, and it all be gone. Or I wake up in a rush and had my food ready to eat in the morning only to find it gone. So now I have to skip breakfast. If she would simply text sometimes, "Hey, is it okay if we eat food item?" I would know and know to make other plans. I would stop for food or know I have to whip something up when I get home. Also, I think eating the last of someone else's food is crazy and rude. If someone makes a big pot of something and you ask them for a serving, sure. But if someone made something and there is one serving left and you eat it without permission, that is evil as hell. I told my entitled grandmother it's too little too late for a grandmother-granddaughter relationship. This happened a year ago. I, 26F at the time in 2021, have only a living paternal grandmother, 90F. Growing up, I tried to bond and form any form of emotional connection, but it only caused me to not be related to her by blood. I would get compared to her favorite grandchildren. She would constantly abuse me emotionally, told me constantly that I was the black sheep of the family, and told me I wasn't going to succeed in life, which is why I tried to unalive myself because she motivated them most of the time. The last straw for me was when my older brother died. He was 25M, and told my grieving parents that another filthy soul out of this world. My brother was an innocent soul that was killed off for only eating in a fast food restaurant, and I snapped at her telling her, "The day your funeral comes, I'll probably wear the brightest red dress I have in my closet, because I'll never mourn your loss. On the contrary, I'll celebrate when that happens." This happened in 2014. Since then, at every family event, I would avoid her or pretend she doesn't exist. Hell, I would even skip going to her birthday parties. So last November, she got sick, and she wanted all her children and grandchildren to take care of her in the hospital since her favorite daughter, my aunt, 52F, and her favorite grandchildren, 33F, 31M, and 25F, can't do it. She said this to my dad over the phone, and I told her, sorry, but my grandparents died in 2004 and 2012, and I don't have any other grandparents since I am not a granddaughter to my last living grandparent. She started to cry, more like manipulate, and told me that I am her granddaughter and this could be a good moment to bond and mend our relationship. I said to her, now I am your granddaughter? I needed you for 26 years, but in those 26 years you broke me emotionally and I can't since I study and work. Plus there's no relationship to save. I hung up for my father before she could say anything. I've been told I am a horrible human being for what I've said to her, but I don't feel sorry at all for her. I mean, she dug her own grave. Now she can go and lie in it for all I care. That's karma for you. My in-laws are suing me for part of ownership in my company. This is just happening. It started today. I was served with papers. My husband and I, both male, had issues with them a while back that resulted in us going no contact. I have had my restaurant since I was in my 20s, long before my husband was ever in my life. My in-laws felt that after we got married, it became a family business and they were entitled to ownership. My husband and I have a prenup and postnup that states my husband and his family have no stake in the business, and I am sole owner, and they know this and have known this. This issue caused us to go no contact with his family because of their entitled greed. My husband is beyond pissed, and my lawyer is assuring me that they will lose. For some reason, I'm laughing about it. Just one more headache I didn't need. My mom invoiced me and my sister for the expenses of raising us. Our household always revolved around money. Even though my mom made more than enough money and we were not struggling by any means, she complained about every single thing she had to buy for us. Everything: food, clothes, medical expenses, toys, laptops and phones, school costs, everything. We always knew exactly how much we were costing her. We didn't dare ask for unnecessary things like leisure activities or expensive toys or hobby supplies. We started working very young and she manipulated and guilted us to give her all the money we earned to pay off what we owed. When I turned 18, she completely cut me off financially, but kindly offered to let me rent my bedroom out from her and sent me an invoice of every cent I've ever cost her, totaling over $700,000. She billed me for Christmas and birthday presents. She even billed me for her medical expenses for the pregnancy and delivery, and wanted me to back pay rent to live in the house from birth. She did the same to my sister 2 years later when she turned 18. We were supposed to pay her back over time starting the day we turned 18. Both of us were still dealing with a lot of internalized guilt from her constant manipulation, so we actually did pay for a while. Aside from necessary expenses, our entire paychecks were going to her. We rented our bedrooms in her house, and she separated her food, cleaning supplies, cookware, and tableware, etc. from ours and charged us to use them. She generously included the use of the household appliances in our rent. It wasn't until I was 21 and my sister was 19 that enough people had told us this whole arrangement was unhinged that we finally snapped out of it. We moved out together and have stopped paying our mom, or even contacting her at all. Entitled Parents moved my stuff at beach, got ticketed for theft. Hi all, story that happened to me yesterday. I am on vacation at a touristy beach spot. Went out mid-morning to the beach before the crowds and set up my towel, umbrella, chair, cooler, etc. Around 11 a.m. while laying on my towel tanning with headphones in, I get a tap on my shoulder. Open my eyes to a middle-aged woman standing over me and her family and young kids starting to set up multiple umbrellas, chairs, toys about 10 inches behind me. When I took my headphones out, the woman proceeds to tell me that my bathing suit is inappropriate to be around her children and so I will need to move. Nope, bathing suit is a cheeky bikini bottom, but not a thong. I tell her I was there first. They can find somewhere else to set up if it offends her. She proceeds to say there's no other close spots to the water. I tell her I'm not moving and put headphones back in. About an hour later, I decide to hop in the water for a dip to cool off. While in the water, I look at the shoreline, and the woman has packed up my stuff with her husband and is carrying it away from the area. I hop out of the water and get a lifeguard to call beach security while I watch them walking my stuff up the beach to relocate it. Beach security and myself approach them. They try to play dumb and say it's their stuff, so they are asked to open the wallet to show ID. Surprise, it's my ID. Cops are then called, and I chose to press charges for theft. And I got my spot back since the family was escorted and kicked off the beach. Mom tried to invite herself on my trip. told me I'm not allowed to move away. I won a trip to NYC through my work for hitting some high metrics, and I called my mom to tell her. I was feeling proud of myself, and I thought she would be proud too. Here's a quick rundown of the conversation. Immediately asking if she could come with me, and getting angry when I told her no, because that it probably wouldn't be best for a woman in her 60s who is fresh off back surgery to go limping around NYC. Demanding that I bring her a sandwich from Katz's. Sure, Mom, I'll buy a sandwich, travel to the airport with the sandwich, fly 2 hours home with the sandwich, and then drive an hour to your place to deliver the sandwich to you. What is she thinking? Asking if I'd move to NYC if the raise was significant enough, then getting angry when I said yes. You can't, it's too far. How do you expect me to drive there? I'm not expecting you to do shit. It's not about you. What the hell, lady? I can't even celebrate doing well at work without this woman draining the life out of me, and then she gets pissy when I don't want to spend time with her. God, give me strength. Apparently, I made my mom cry every Mother's Day throughout my childhood. Throughout my childhood, from when I started school to about age 18, I would ask my mom what she wanted for Mother's Day, and every year she would say very clearly, nothing. You don't need to get me anything at all. And so I didn't, because I was a child and she was my mom and I believed what she said. In my teens, I just assumed it wasn't something she felt was important. I'm an only child, and my lovely dad who lived with us wasn't one for social conventions and didn't intervene. I'm not sure why, but aged 18, I started buying her a Mother's Day card and present, which always went down well with her. After I had my own son, my mom decided to tell me that every Mother's Day that she didn't receive a present, she would hide away and cry because I hadn't bought her anything, and that everyone else had a lovely present and card except her. What's going on here? I'm 48 now and still feel weird about both her not telling child-aged me that she'd like some flowers or whatever, and also that she told adult-aged me about how I'd made her cry each year. Karen parked in my driveway, then claimed the house was hers. So I am a 14-year-old male, and my family recently moved into a house in a new estate. This estate had a park that was massive. My house is on the main road of the estate, and its garage is on the other side on another road, and we are close to the park. About 2 months ago, they hosted an opening ceremony for the park. A lot of people came. People from the surrounding areas came as well. Me, my brother, and my parents left our house and walked down to the park. Due to all the traffic, there were people to manage it. Once we get there, we see a car parked in our driveway. My dad is a calm dude usually, but he doesn't like stuff like this. Me and my brother, 18 years old, go up to one of the workers and tell him that the car in there wasn't ours and we don't want it there. The worker tells us he saw the people parked there and kind of remembers what they look like. We tell him that it would be good if we get the car moved. He says he will try to find her. About 20 minutes later, we see him walking up to the car with a lady and her son who look to be about 9. She walks up there and we see her starting to get angry. Naturally, we walk up to see what's happening. This is the conversation that happened. Not 100% accurate, it's been a while. Karen: I don't understand why you want me to move my car. I live here. Worker: well, they say that you don't, and I don't see why they would bring this issue here unless it was true. Karen: they are clearly lying. I live here. My brother: ma'am, please. I live here, and I even have keys to the house. Please move your car. Karen: bullshit. Complete bullshit. I have lived here for a year and watched this park get built. Our house was finished 5 months prior to this. My brother: okay then, what 2 cars are inside the garage then? Karen: a Volkswagen and a Mazda. My brother: nope, a Volkswagen Jetta and a Hyundai i45. Karen: that's not true, I'll open the garage and show you. As she scuffles through her handbag, my brother opens the garage. My brother: there, that's the evidence. Closes the garage. Worker: it's not your house, so please leave. She gets in the car and leaves while looking very angry. We didn't think to call the cops because nothing major happened, but it was funny to see her lying out of her ass and getting proven wrong. But my son needs to watch Bluey. Last night when I went to sign in to open Netflix, I found that my TV had been signed out. Went to sign back in and could not do it. It had been about a year since I last signed in, so I assumed I just forgot my password and requested to reset it. When I went to my email, I saw an email from Netflix this morning saying my password had been successfully changed. Obviously red flags, so I went through all of our subscription services and updated passwords and changed my email password just in case. Got a call from my brother's ex-wife, let's call her Kate, about an hour ago. They have been divorced over 4 years now, asking me why I changed my password. I didn't realize that she still had my account info, was a bit annoyed, and told her that someone had changed the password on me and that I didn't feel comfortable giving out my account info, especially not to someone I was not in contact with. Jumping back a bit, my in-laws are staying at our home, and at night after everyone goes to bed, I guess we have 4 devices in our home running our Netflix account simultaneously. When she called, Kate explained how she tried to get onto our account on Christmas night and was greeted with the message that there were too many users on our account currently, so she could not access it. She got the idea that it would be totally fine with me if she logged into our Netflix account and changed the password so that her and her new husband could watch their show. Said this calmly like it was the most reasonable thing in the world. I nearly lost it. I have no idea how anyone would think it would be okay to change someone else's password because you are too cheap to pay for it yourself. I told her I don't want to hear from her anymore. I am not giving her our info and hung up. 15 minutes ago, she called my wife and asked for the Disney Plus password. I was lazy and had the same account info for each streaming service, and apparently she figured this out and was logged into several of our services. When I realized who my wife was talking to and what about, I motioned for the phone. Kate was just whining that she at least needed to have access to Disney Plus so her son, who was 18 months old, could watch Bluey, and that he just needed it to be able to get ready for bed. I told her to f off and hung up. Great way to ruin my mood for the night.